Joining us now is Tana Gertz, the co-chair of Donald Trump's presidential campaign in Iowa and a former contestant on NBC's The Apprentice. Thanks for joining us tonight, Ms. Gertz. Could you tell us, did you interpret Donald Trump's answer tonight when that man said that the president is a Muslim and Donald Trump said right? Did you interpret that to be your candidate agreeing with that man's statement?
Absolutely not. I mean, that's one of the disadvantages that Mr. Trump has when he doesn't use teleprompters and he doesn't tell his team that he needs to see all the questions before he gets them. I mean, he is unscripted, unstaged, and he's real. And when he said, I like this guy, he probably was talking about he likes the way the guy is dressed. It had nothing to do with, I like this guy because I know what his question's going to be. No, absolutely not. He never was agreeing with what that gentleman was saying. He was just taking the question, and when he was like, we're looking into it, he was diffusing what could potentially have been a disaster.
And a recent poll showed that 66% of Trump supporters believe that President Obama is a Muslim. Are you one of those 66% who believe that President Obama is a Muslim?
No, I do not. I do not believe that, and Mr. Trump probably does not believe that as well. And that is not, that was not part of the show. That was not what he was looking for. That was a gentleman who was very unhappy with the country, just like Mr. Trump is, and a lot of Americans are. I mean, I know I'm hitting the streets, and the voters are very, very frightened for where this country is headed, and that's why Mr. Trump is in the leading position, because they want an outsider to take over the presidency and correct this and make America great again.
You said you think Donald Trump probably doesn't think what this man said. Do you know if Donald Trump still believes that President Obama is a Muslim? Because that's something that he publicly wondered about years ago.
No, I do not know exactly. We haven't had that discussion, no. That is not something that I've had to discuss.
The Trump campaign issued a response to us when we asked for clarification from Donald Trump about whether he was expressing agreement with the questioner tonight there in New Hampshire. And this is the entirety of the Trump campaign's response to that question, seeking clarification of exactly what candidate Trump meant tonight. This is what the campaign said. Donald Trump's response simply means Christians, this is quote, Christians need support in this country. Their religious liberty is at stake. Tana Gertz, does that clarify for you whether Donald Trump agreed with the questioner tonight?
That was enough for me, absolutely. We're not here to talk about President Obama. We're here to talk about what Donald Trump is going to do to make America great again. He got his first question. You know, people are handing him landmines, and people, I mean, I can't expect a reporter to come in and handle himself in a professional manner. We do not know if that was a plant. I mean, my goodness, as I've been a part of this from day one, I see what the media is trying to do, and it's just not working because the voters decide. And the voters are speaking, and we saw the polls with Newsweek and Time and the Drudge Report. I mean, we saw what happened last night at the debate. The voters are speaking that they are not going to allow the Washington insiders to make the decision for them. They're making their own minds up.
Do you think
they like my candidate?
Do you think John McCain handled that same moment better 8 years ago than your candidate did tonight?
No, I'm not going to say better or worse, but I know Donald Trump very well. I actually know the man. I'm not just working for him. I know him well. And Mr. Trump will not pretend to have a wonderful relationship with the President of the United States. He's made it very clear he does not like the way the government has been run. He does not like the way our country is going, and he blames that on our current president. And that is not a secret. That is not a surprise to anyone. So absolutely not. I mean, Mr. McCain handled it the way he wanted to handle it, politically correct. Mr. Trump, the reason why he's resonating so well is he is not saying the things that are comfortable, that are easy to say, and that are popular. He's saying the hard things. And guess what? The voters like what they're hearing. They're not swayed by some skew of how Mr. Trump acted towards a question that was about a president that he is not a fan of. That's obvious.
And there was a second question like this from the audience. Let's listen to this one and Mr. Trump's response.
Go ahead.
I applaud the gentleman who brought up the Muslim training camps here in the USA. The FBI knows all about that.
Right.
So there was another opportunity. He's being told by this questioner that he applauds the first questioner, and the only thing Donald Trump said about that was right.
Right, it's called Let's Move On. Give me your question, because I'm here. I'm not scripted. I'm not staged. I don't know what you're going to ask me. Let's talk about what I'm going to do to make America great again. Yeah, he's like a mover. Let's go. Come on, like I don't have time for that. Next, right, yeah, let's go.
When you're when you're with Donald Trump, can you ask him any question you want and talk about anything you want?
Anything, absolutely. We talk about anything, absolutely.
Did you ever get around to asking him what his detectives found in Hawaii, since he promised to reveal that, and to this day he's never revealed a word of what he says his detectives found in Hawaii?
He'll reveal it when the time is right. I've never had a care in the world about it.
When would the time be right to reveal? He said to Meredith Vieira that it was absolutely unbelievable what his detectives were finding in Hawaii 4 years ago. He's never told you about it? You've never asked him about it? It was unbelievable and you weren't curious about it?
Never was curious once, because he's not a liar. If they found something, it will come out. The time isn't right. And guess what? Mr. Trump does what he wants, and he's not going to do it on our time. He's going to do it when the timing is perfectly strategic, and it's not now, and it wasn't.
Will there ever be a
right
time to reveal what his detectives found about President Obama in Hawaii?
That's up to Mr. Trump. I don't make those calls. I don't make those calls, and I've never had a care in the world, because my focus is getting Donald Trump into the White House, and I've got a laser focus on that goal, and nothing else matters.
Okay, and just to get clarify one other thing, do you believe President Obama was born in the United States? Do you believe he was born in Hawaii? I do not know.
Once again, I don't care. I have not a concern in the world about President Obama. I honestly, when Mr. Trump said it, I went, you know what? Stranger things have happened.
Do you believe
and when all that birth certificate stuff came up, why didn't he just produce the birth certificate?
He did. Do you believe the birth certificate is fake?
I have not a clue.
I
really don't know. No, I've never looked at it. Never looked at it. Once again, my interest is not on President Obama. My interest is on Donald Trump. Mr. Trump is a smart man. He's got all of his facts, and I thought, I actually appreciated that he was questioning that, because there was a lot of Americans that were also thinking the same thing. Once again, he does what's not popular, that's not comfortable, that is a little more uncomfortable to handle, and he does the dirty work for Americans, and that's why he's #1 in the polls. People love him because he is doing our work for us, and he is taking all the blows and all the punches and dealing with people like that are in his media forum, and he's handling it, and he's doing a great job. We couldn't be more proud of Mr. Trump, and I'm hitting the streets here in Iowa. Everyone loves him.
Tana Gertz, co-chair of Donald Trump's campaign in Iowa, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.